Beats Planet.
Okay, cool. What's happening, y'all? What's good? Let me get my audio straight. Let me hit some of these buttons. Let me grab my water, man. We got some talking to do today. You all have read the title of the video. You know that we're talking about wide receivers. Boy. This ain't one of them regular years where we come talk about wide receivers and it may be like 3 people we like and a gang of auxiliary ass people. This might be one of the bigger wide receiver classes that we've had in the past few years. Not big like size, but big like volume. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching film today, and in my mind, I said, I'm going to watch film until I get sick of watching film. And whenever I get tired of watching film, we just going to stop right there, and that's going to be all the wide receivers that I've watched for today. In my mind, I thought I was going to at least get to like 7 and then stop. Because when I do, I mean, we've done offensive line, or the tackles at least. We've done receivers. D-line. We've done edge. And by the time I get to about 7 or 8 or 9, I'll be done. I have today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I got 16 people to talk about today. 16, my guy. I think all of them can play except for like 2 of them, but we'll cross that road in a minute. Shouts out to everybody that's here. Follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Shouts out to my Patreon supporters. That's also Voch Lombardi on Patreon. We'll be doing a merch giveaway Thursday. So tune into that. We'll be giving away some merch Thursday. So y'all tune in, and especially if you're a patron or whatnot, and see if you got you some free merch or whatnot, okay? The phone lines are open if y'all want to call in and get y'all's thoughts off or whatever. 515-606-5187, access code 309-104. It's on the screen. It's in the description somewhere. It's not that hard to get in touch with the show. So if you want to call in and talk about one of your favorite receivers, you can do so by all means. All right. Let's just jump right into it, man. Just as an overall how I feel about this thing, right? I'm a Cowboy fan, first of all, and I don't make these draft shows about Cowboys. I make them about all 32 teams. Cowboys just happen to be one of them teams. So y'all don't have to deal with me for a second if you're a non-Cowboys fan. But I walked into this thing thinking, I say, boy, I haven't watched wide receivers yet. But what I'm going, did my right ear just go out? Chat box, did my right ear just go out? Somebody help me on that. I walked into this thing saying, boy, I don't want nothing but defense. Yeah, my right ear just went out. I need new equipment, but we going to get there. Hang tight. I walked into this thing. Hold on, let me see if I can hit this. Hey, there we go. I walked into this thing thinking, okay, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and I'm drafting at 17, all I want is defense. I don't want nothing else on defense. I don't want nothing else but defense is what I said. Then I watched these receivers, man. And now I'm to a point to where, if I can't get the D tackle that I want, if there's a receiver that I like more than whatever safety's on the board, because that's a thing in Cowboy land. Like, we want safeties real bad. But if there's a receiver that I like more than whatever safety's on the board, I'll take the receiver over the safety. That's just where I'm at right now. Receiver has jumped all the way up my board in terms of what I would prefer, what I would like to have on my team in terms of like priority. And I wasn't even looking at offense. I wasn't even looking at offense. But some of these guys are so damn. It's so many of them. It's so many of them. Let's just get started, man. Let's just get started. Oh goodness. What I think is gonna happen though, I do think a lot of these wide receivers are gonna fall into the later rounds of the draft because it's so many. If you're sitting at 12 or 13 or whatever, you have to pick out of a safety or let's say like a 3 tech, right? If it's like Kinlaw versus like CD Lamb, in your mind, you be like, fam, I can take Kinlaw now and just get a guy like who I can get at the top of the second. I get a guy like Jalen Reagor at the top of the second. Like they two different kinds of receivers. But if you get that guy, you'll feel good about getting that guy. Like the second tier of guys feel just as good as the first tier. Like if you don't get a first tier guy, you fine with Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? You good with them. Let me run into some notes I got, and then I'm gonna let y'all talk. The first thing I did was I put notes instead of scouting reports because I wanted to make sure that I got this point across. That we're really gonna need the combine to separate these guys in terms of we know a lot of guys are fast. We know some guys are quick. We need to know like how fast these guys truly are. We need to know like what they verticals looking like. We need to know what they're like in these one-on-one, like these route tree type of deals or whatever. We need to know can they run these routes. You know what I mean? So the combine is super important to what we're trying to do in terms of separating these guys. I wouldn't dare try to rank them right now. I have some guys that I do like over some of these others, but I'm just not going to rank them right now. I will say this, though. I have a favorite. And my favorite receiver right now, dog. And that's why he's my favorite. But besides that, everybody can give you something different. That's why I also wrote this down. Like lanes are going to be very important because I try to grow as a scout. Like I like 2020 scout is way better than 2015 scout Voch. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm breaking down receivers, regardless of what round they go, regardless of whatever talent level that you think that they belong in, as long as there's a lane for that player, they can be productive. I think this happens a lot with the DK Metcalf conversation, right? He was probably the one of the better rookie receivers this year, but people say that, oh, we should have drafted him higher because he was productive. I don't agree, because if you draft DK Metcalf like early first round just because he's productive, now you're putting him next to guys like Odell. You're putting him next to guys like Julio Jones. He's not those guys. So we got to have something to celebrate them, separate them. So I do think we're not wrong by not drafting DK Metcalf in the first round. Our biggest play with him was he can't turn. Early first receivers should be able to turn. But what do we do when we get him in Seattle? We do everything but ask him to turn. You see what I'm saying? You just got to go with that mode. Deebo Samuel was probably the best playmaker in San Francisco Sunday for the Super Bowl. And if you're watching Deebo Samuel, you go, man, he's the best receiver on that team. Why was he drafted late? Well, because they use him with a plan. It wasn't like Deebo Samuel was out here doing everything. Deebo Samuel, he's tough runner guy. He's yak guy. He's hard to tackle dude. So we're going to give him some short passes. We're going to hand the ball to him. We're going to toss it to him, reverses or whatever. And that's how we get production out of Deebo Samuel. You see what I'm saying? So as I break down some of these guys, I'm not going to say what round they should belong in, what pick they should go. I wasn't going to do that no damn way. But when we're drafting these guys, we should understand that we should have a plan going into using them, how we're going to use these guys, and not just expecting them to, well, Voch, is he going to be the next Julio Jones? Well, if not, We're not going to do that. But just whatever lane you want to put him in, you know, that just is what it is. Now, let's see. In no particular order, right? I just went Jerry Judy first Because everywhere I watch film or everywhere I looked at a list of wide receivers coming out this year, Jerry Judy was first, okay? And when I talk about these guys, I'm going to compare them to the guys in this class. That just makes a little sense to me. So we're starting with Jerry Judy, and I think Jerry Judy is really, really fantastic. Now, it doesn't help that the first game I watched was the Michigan game where he beat the shit out of Michigan like terribly, got like 200 yards, like 10 catches, something like that. It's hard to evaluate these Alabama receivers. Let me take a sip of water after that. It's hard to watch film on these Alabama receivers because you start to fill your mind with doubt. You know, how would they do in conjunction with if these guys weren't here? Because I tell you what, if you watch film saying, hey, I'm going to go watch Henry Ruggs today, it's going to be hard to not watch, what's the boy, number 6, Devontae Smith, the one that went back to school. It's going to be hard to miss him. It's going to be hard to miss him. It's going to be hard to watch Jerry Judy and not notice Henry Ruggs run past people. You see what I'm saying? So when we get to Henry Ruggs, we'll talk more about that. But I think Jerry Judy, the one thing that I really, really like about Jerry Judy that gives me confidence, my favorite kind of receiver, let me hit my volume one more time. My favorite kind of receiver is a route runner guy. Because no matter what happens, route runner guy can succeed in the National Football League. You ain't got to have the best athleticism. You ain't got to be quick and fast than everybody. Regardless of what your physical talents are, if you're a route running guy, you'll be fine. Jerry Judy is indeed route runner guy. Not only that, but he can catch. Not only that, he's fast. And I want to be careful with the word fast, okay? Because everybody's fast here. Some people are way faster than others. I don't want to speak on Jerry Judy as if he's slow, because he's not. But it's a couple guys on this list that are ridiculous fast. Jerry Judy is indeed fast. He is indeed quick, but he's probably like the most balanced guy out of everybody that we're gonna break down today. Is he the best route runner in this class? No. Is he the fastest, the quickest? No. Is he the best catcher? No. Is the biggest? No. But he puts them all together so well that he does present you a little bit of everything. To where let's talk about Van Jefferson, Florida. Let's talk about him. To where he's the best route runner in this class. Right? But he may not have the athleticism to go along with it. You know what I mean? To where if you look at Jalen Reagor, okay, to where his route running is different. His route running is more so, I'm going to use my quickness to get me open. You see what I'm saying? But he may not be the most creative technically as a route runner. Jerry Judy is a perfect combination of I got my quickness, my speed, big playability, I can catch. He got some drops, but relax. I can catch, okay? Vertical threat, down under. I can play inside and outside. Plus, I'm the second best route runner in this class. I like Jerry Judy. I think he's going to be fantastic wherever he goes. I know I just spent a lot of time talking about Jerry Judy, but I really like Jerry Judy. Let's talk about this. Now that we got Jerry Judy out the way, because Jerry is the most balanced guy, complete guy, in my opinion, I want to talk about this new technique that I use when we're breaking down receivers. Strategies, if you will. Before the shot, after the shot. If you watch Battle Rap, you know what I'm talking about. What I'm going to do to incorporate that is some receivers are dangerous before they catch the ball. Some are more dangerous after they catch the ball. Okay? So we're going to be using that to kind of differentiate these guys on another level. Okay? CeeDee Lamb is a guy that's absolutely more dangerous after he catches the ball. Okay? I've seen Dez Bryant comparisons. I don't do player comparisons. I think they suck. Dez is a little more explosive than what CeeDee Lamb is, and I don't want to say it like CeeDee Lamb ain't explosive, but CeeDee Lamb, when you watch him, cut on the Texas film. I think CeeDee Lamb versus Texas is clear indication of what you get from him. He's a guy that's great in the red zone. He's a guy that tracks the ball well, that catches the ball well. Plus, when you simply just get the ball to him, he run folk over. He's hard to tackle. You see what I mean? Now, at some point, we're going to get back and have this conversation because we're going to have to compare the guys that do that, because there's a handful of guys on this list that are, yak guys, or they're better yak guys where they catch the ball and they're just hard to bring down. We're going to have to break that down in a second, but that's what you get from CeeDee Lamb. There's another parable that we kind of gotta deal with in terms of watching receivers or whatever. Big 12 is terrible. They don't tackle very well there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to get a beep on what they're doing. So whether we're breaking down a kid from Oklahoma, we're breaking down a TCU guy, we're breaking down a Texas guy, West Virginia, all those guys have gone up against Big 12 competition that don't tackle very well. So we got to be aware of that. And it's hilarious that that all these Big 12 guys kind of run over people. They're yak guys or whatever. But we'll have that conversation. But CeeDee Lamb, sure, fantastic. He runs routes enough. You know what I mean? Like he's not a super technical route runny guy, but he can run routes enough. But he's a muscly guy in terms of his play style. He's really a skinny kind of guy. He's kind of, so he ain't really a big filled out kind of, like he's about 190. I don't know, combine nerds will help me out when that gets here or whatever, but he runs like he's big swole muscle dude. So at some point when he puts weight on and he gets into his grown man body, I think he'll be even better. But like I say, man, there's a market for that. If you look at what Deebo Samuel did, they threw a lot of slants with him and they handed him the football. They ran reverses and he just kind of ran people over. CeeDee Lamb took some handoffs too. Now, the same kind of guy, almost. And it kind of got weird for me because when I first saw the name Laviska Shenault, I'm like, Colorado, boom, boom, boom. He's in everybody's top or whatever list, but he ain't getting the clout like Jerry and CD getting, but all the scouts talking about him. So let me figure out what's the deal with Laviska Shenault. And I think if Laviska Shenault didn't play for Colorado, he'll probably have a better natural presence. National presence, rather. But he's kind of gonna do some of the same things. Man, I don't want to get in the ranking these guys yet, but I think the Shenault versus Lamb conversation is a real conversation. I think that's a real life conversation. I know it's a popular narrative or a popular take to be like, okay, you either got Jerry Judy 1 or CeeDee Lamb 1. And I'll only take CeeDee Lamb 2 if Jerry Judy's 1. You're going to get a whole bunch of that. The Illuminati's absolutely going to give you that. But Laviska Shenault do the same shit. Laviska's a little more swole. Like I was just talking about CeeDee Lamb, getting a little more swole. Laviska is about as swole as CeeDee Lamb would look if he got more swole. If that makes sense to you. The first thing I wrote down for Laviska Shenault, Colorado, I went, oh boy. Because wait a minute. The paragraph before that, I was like, CeeDee Lamb, Oklahoma, super yak guy. Next paragraph, Laviska Shenault, Colorado, oh boy. Also super yak guy. So we're going to have that conversation at some point because he's a bigger guy. He's a bigger, thicker guy, but he can also fly. Laviska Shenault he can also fly. And that's why I think that 40 times is really going to make a difference separating this thing, right? I would love to see them run next to each other. I would love to see them in a foot race so we can know Combine's definitely going to help with that. But the Combine will be revealing. He's definitely dangerous after the catch. He's one of those after guys. Is he one of those super route running guys? No, but let's talk about those vibes that we were kind of hitting on earlier. Remember them DK Metcalf vibes that we was talking about, right? To where, hey, DK can't turn, but if you let DK do things that he does well, DK will be great. I think the same thing kind of happens with Shenault. Shenault can turn, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying do things that Shenault does well. And Shenault gets vertical really well. He tracks the ball really well. He runs really well. He runs over people really well. He's explosive. I think Laviska Shenault versus CeeDee Lamb is going to be a real life conversation in terms of who the number 2 guy is. Now, fine, sure, Jerry Judy's my number 1 guy as of now. It's not official till I make a video. It's never official till I do a live stream. But if somebody told you Laviska Shenault is a little better than CeeDee Lamb because they're very similar, but Chenault's bigger and he may be a little more explosive, I can't hate you for that. I can't hate you for that. But we'll have to have that conversation whenever we get there. This is what I like. Hey, Coach Evans, you remember we had this wide receiver named Rico Richardson, and he was dangerous after the catch. So we went to go play pedal in the playoffs. We just put him at quarterback and ran read option with him. Boy, they did that with Laviska Shenault. And I was like, hey, ain't doing that thing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people want to hate on, when I be like, hey, man, most of these football concepts nowadays, they come from high school play. High school do all this stuff. No, Voch, these are pros. These are college football players. High school. No, I seen this in 2009, my guy. This has happened before. Laviska Shenault lined up at receiver, and whoever the hell Colorado's running back is, we not watching film on him. They just kind of lined up and ran read option with him. And Shenault kept the ball a bunch, and he was hard to tackle after he kept it. So we're going to have a conversation about that dude, man. Man, Pac-12 cameras are terrible, but whatever. We'll have to talk about that later. Henry Ruggs. Interesting conversation. Let me take a sip of water before I get started. Go ahead and take a sip of water before we get started. I don't think Henry Ruggs is Tyreek Hill. I don't do player comparisons, though, by the way. But I don't think he's Tyreek Hill. I also don't think he's John Ross. But I also don't think he's Mecole Hardman. You know what I mean? I think he's kind of going to be his own dude. I would love to see those 4 guys in a foot race. I think that'll be fun. A lot of people like Ruggs a little more than me. That's okay. But Ruggs can fly. But I think the difference is Ruggs can catch. And Ruggs can actually run routes. And Ruggs can block, and that could be a product of damn it, did it again. That could be a product of coaching in Alabama. I'm just gonna have to get a new soundboard, y'all. My bad. That could be a product of coaching in Alabama, but Henry Ruggs can block. I do like that. Coach Evans also likes wide receivers that that willingly go block. He's 6 foot, so he's not really a short dude. You know what I mean? He's more fast and quick. You know how people say you're more quick than fast? I think the opposite of him. I think he's ridiculous going straight. But he's also a guy that can be dangerous, like catching the ball, then like just being yak guy. He's also dangerous in that way. But I don't think he got super quickness in the way that would make him like a Tyreek Hill kind of guy. And the only reason I'm saying Tyreek Hill, the only reason I'm saying John Ross, Mecole Hardman is because this is what I'm seeing other people say. I'm saying he's not like those guys in his own kind of way. Like he's his own kind of guy. I see a lot of Cowboy fans saying, Ruggs at 17. Voch, would you like Ruggs at 17? No, I would not like Ruggs at 17. I think Ruggs is going to be a good player. I think he's going to be fine. But he's not one of my favorite receivers here. Give me Shenault at 17. Give me Laviska Shenault at 17. Give me Laviska. Hey, man, look. If Brown and Kinlaw ain't there, and I got to pick out of like Delpit and Shenault, hey, give me Shenault. Let that dude play slot for me, man. Let Shenault come in and play slot and just let him run over people all day. That's what you want from him. That's what you want him to do. But anyway, that's just me, just talking my talk. I'm not the biggest fan of Ruggs at 17, but that's y'all's prerogative. Justin Jefferson, LSU, the first real slot here. He can also do like flanker things, but I think he's mostly gonna be a slot guy because I think he works really well in space, and he's better when he has a two-way go, so to speak. I think what was really good about him was his rapport with Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? And if I'm Cincinnati, I actually wrote this in my notes. If I'm Cincinnati and I'm taking Joe number 1, I need to take Jefferson at 33 because those guys, their timing, when they run them verticals from the slot, when they figure that leverage out, the timing is perfect. They just like Justin Jefferson just knows how to read safeties, and sometimes you get value as a receiver knowing how to read safety. Some guys call it leveraging or whatever. Cool, you got to know where guys are gonna be in order to be in a place where they're not, if that makes sense. I keep wanting to call him Jordan Jefferson, who played quarterback for LSU, but Justin Jefferson is one of those guys. I don't want to say what he is or what he ain't because I don't really remember him without Joe Burrow. I don't really know what he is. I'm sorry, I don't know what he is or is not without Joe. But in terms of what he is with Joe, it seems like there's a whole bunch of pro level shit going on in terms of I'm a receiver, I'm reading safeties. I know exactly when the ball is coming because I understand the leverage. That's what Justin Jefferson is really good at. We'll see. Jordan Jefferson is his brother. Who knew? Hey, learn something new every day. You learn something new every day. T. Higgins. Hey. So look, I thought I was out of first round guys, right? I kind of thought I was out of first round guys. And I thought I was into the second round cast when I was looking at Justin Jefferson or whatever and all that. But I got to T. Higgins and I realized that he was taller than I thought he was. He was like 6'4", 2 something. Combine nurse helped me out. But the fact that he's that tall and can run gives him value. Now, there's going to be a lot of tall guys in this class that can't run. Chenault is a tall guy that can run. T. Higgins is a tall guy that can run. At some point, we're going to get to some that can't run, but y'all just kind of bear with me for a second. Think about what Mike Williams was, right? And think about what draft people wanted Mike Williams to be. Because I wasn't the biggest fan of Mike Williams because I mean he wasn't pretty good at. I mean he wasn't a good enough route runner for me, and he wasn't fast enough for me. He was a tall, long double catcher, right? Now take T. Higgins. You take away double catching, you keep that size and that catch radius and all that, but you add speed. You add speed now. Now you got a problem. Now you got this issue. He's kind of sort of quasi a yak guy too, but he's not a yak guy like the other guys. You know, he'll kind of get hit and fall down. You know, I ain't really looking for T. Higgins to run over people. He can finish runs, but I don't expect him to always run over guys. He smoked the hell out of Virginia, man, by himself in the championship game, ACC. Smoked the hell out of them kids. They wasn't even supposed to be on the field with him. Great hands and great eyes. Right, in terms of fighting the ball and in terms of getting my hands up, getting the ball out of the air. I like when a receiver don't just let the ball come to me. Like he has evidence of going up and getting the ball, finding the ball, and not just losing it. Henry Ruggs loses the ball a lot. I'm going back to him on this one. Henry Ruggs loses the ball sometimes, but when they connect, it's really fast. But T. Higgins is a guy, it's hard for him to lose the ball. If he's in an area, he can adjust and just snatch that thing out of the air. And my last line was yak guy, but nothing crazy. You see what I mean? And you kind of gotta use words like that because he is a yak guy. But when we start talking about the other true yak guys in this class, it's just gonna be a clear distinction there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 more guys to go. This will get a little faster because these scouting reports got a little shorter because I just started running out of things to say about these guys. I need something to slam. I like Jalen Reagor. I like Jalen Reagor from TCU. Think about everything we just said about Henry Ruggs. And I think Jalen Reagor is another casualty of the school that I play for guy, right? Jalen and Henry are probably going to be in the who runs the fastest 40 competition. I don't know who's going to win that. But when you hear people say Henry Ruggs can be Tyreek Hill, Voch says no because Henry Ruggs doesn't have that kind of quickness. However, Jalen Reagor got that kind of quickness. Jalen Reagor is more Tyreek Hill than Henry Ruggs is, if that makes sense. Jalen Reagor gonna go out that thing. He might run a damn 4.2 as well. But Jalen Reagor is a man. So look, he could be a slot guy. Because he does some things in the quick game, catch the ball, be explosive guy, right? That's his game. But I think he's also he also does flanker things to where, hey, I'm gonna line up against your second best cornerback and just run past him. You know what I mean? He's gonna give you value in the deep game, the vertical game, and all that stuff. So he's basically giving you value vertically, but he can also give you value short game. I like that a lot. And he mossing people. This ain't like just, hey, I run fast, so I'm going to 9 route you because I'm faster than you. But he winning 50-50 balls at 5'11", which makes him a little more like Tyreek Hill than Henry Ruggs is. You know what I mean? He's a guy that can run routes because he's quick, right? Like his quickness allows him to be great with route running. He doesn't win with creativity necessarily, but he does run with a good deal of quickness. He may play my special team, sure. Some drops, okay? Let's just be aware there. Some drops. And also Big 12 tackling. It seems like every receiver that we're going to talk about that's played against the Big 12, I'm going to put hard to tackle. But I'm going to take hard to tackle and also say, hey, but they was in the Big 12, though. You know what I mean? Which is why these all-star games are very, very important. But, hey, Jalen Reagor, now, if you want to tell me about Cowboys, man, I don't want Henry Ruggs. I'll take some damn Jalen Reagor to the Cowboys, though. That's just my thoughts. At 17, no. I wouldn't take him at 17 to the Cowboys, no. But if you can just sneak that ass in there and get Jalen Reagor in the, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, what's going to happen is there's so many receivers you can get that I think just by design, receivers are just going to fall down the board. If Jalen Reagor is pick 51 for us, I'm throwing a party. Chat box, I'm throwing a party. Shit. Maybe Will Fuller with hands. See, I don't want to say that because Fuller is 9 route guy. Jalen can do 9 route things and he can play short game. Jalen Reagor can block for you. Jalen Reagor does special teams. Will's hands are worse than Jalen Reagor, so I don't want to say that about him. Reagor is Tyler Lockett. I think Reagor does a little more than Tyler Lockett. We'll get into that later, but it's just interesting, man. It's just interesting. I'm all in on Jalen Reagor. Somebody told me to watch KJ Hill. I wasn't a fan. KJ Hill from Ohio State. I was like, he all right. He's cool. He's a slot guy. He's a little dude. But this is my thing about KJ Hill. He could, in fact, be a good player. But my problem with KJ Hill is that, first of all, he's little dude, which is okay because you can be okay being a little dude. But my problem with KJ Hill is that he's little dude, but not better than the other little dudes. I just talked about a little dude named Jalen Reagor with excitement. KJ not as fast as Jalen Reagor. He's not a route runner like some of these other guys are. He's not super yak dude. He's cool. He's just a cool little dude, you know? Jamison Crowder vibes. I don't do player comparisons, but just a guy that's not overly quick, just a guy that's just, you know, he can get open and just kind of do his thing, do his job or whatever. I ain't making comparison to Crowder. Crowder's a good player, but not a big fan of KJ Hill from Ohio State, so I'm going to move on from him. Van Jefferson. Didn't know he played for Ole Miss. He played for Ole Miss while A.J. Brown played for Ole Miss. He also played for Ole Miss while DeKalen was playing for Ole Miss. That quarterback had to be terrible for them to not do nothing with that, you know, with that assortment of guys, with that lineup of guys, right? But going into this thing, man, he high points. Yeah, coach, he high point. Jalen Reagor, little ass, is high pointing people. He 50-50 in people, coach. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, who was I talking about? Van Jefferson, right? Van Jefferson's probably going to play a little bit of slot for you. That's fine. Slot, flanker stuff, mostly slot. Going into watching Van Jefferson, Jerry Judy was my number one route runner, in my opinion. Van Jefferson is now my number one route runner in this class so far. And I don't think y'all understand how powerful that is, what I just said. You know what I mean? Like, Jerry Judy as a route runner is sick. He's insane. And it's coming from a Cowboy fan that watch Amari Cooper every week. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of I'm setting up my moves, I'm 2 steps ahead, no wasted motion. The way Van Jefferson dips and bursts out of his breaks, ridiculous. His creativity in and out of them routes, ridiculous. His college film was good, but I think the peak of what he was those Senior Bowl practices, right? There's a video going around. There's a video. Just type in Van Jefferson Senior Bowl or whatever. And you can just watch him running one-on-one routes with people. Look at how he's setting people up. Look at how he's setting guys up, route running wise. I might do a video on it. I don't know. We'll see. Depending on who the user is. I don't want the user to think I'm just robbing them or whatever. But smoothest route runner in this class, man. He's not the most athletic. Let's just get that out the way. And that's what makes Jerry Judy fantastic. The fact that he's a great route runner and he can run. So he's a pornography, Bang Brothers in terms of route running. He just gets open, man, but he's not the most athletic guy in the world. He can get behind people. I see him giving a lot of value in the vertical game, deep game or whatever. And it makes sense. It's not because he's just flat out running past people, but it's because he set up his 9 routes a little different. You know what I mean? And that makes a little sense. I would like to see what his combine numbers end up being, and he'll probably test a little better than Riley Ridley. Remember Riley Ridley last year, to where he was also a fantastic route runner, but his physical traits didn't always get him there. You know what I mean? I think Van's a little more athletic than what Riley Ridley is, but in terms of route running, fantastic, man, fantastic. But we'll just move on. Who in here talking crazy about Voch and route running? Somebody said something about Voch. I couldn't read it because I was reading. Voch gets giggly when he talks about when he sees superior route running. Facts, because that's the best way to win the league. That's the best way to win the league, man. You if you can't do nothing else, if you can run routes, man, you have a chance. You have a chance. It's like the Bosa children, right? You can say what you want to say about them athletically, but they win a lot because they know the technical side, the fundamentals, the techniques in this thing. Like how they just manipulating wrists and things and hands. And, you know what I mean? But we'll get into that a little bit later. Gabriel Davis, the Odell Beckham kid. He played for UCF, Central Florida. He looked like Odell. He went and got Odell tattoos, and he got Odell's hair, and that seems to be a product of discussion for him. Got Odell number and everything. I wonder if his next team is gonna let him wear 13 like Odell. It gets kind of weird. I ain't gonna say nothing. But the kid can play. The kid can play. He's 6'3", 6'4", 6. He's 6 big. Chat box help me with that. We're talking about Gabriel Davis. He's 6 big. I think like 3 or 4. But he's another guy that's 6 big and can run, okay? And I'm saying this because later on we're going to run into some people that are 6 big and can't run. But Gabriel Davis is 6 big and can run. Let's see. Tall, long, can run. He can run, but he's more of a straight line run. And when you see a lot of what he does, it's a lot of 9 route stuff. He's either running his 9 route or he's going to run a post or he's going to run like a dig. He ain't really got a lot of diversity in his routes, but hey man, just kind of let him do what he's good at, I guess. But once he gets going, it's hard to catch him. But the only problem I got with him is that he's big. I want him to play big. he plays like he's small, like he's Beckham size, like he want to play like Odell Beckham. But he should be playing like a 6'3" receiver that can run. So I want him to be a little more physical. I want him to play like he's bigger than people. He can do some high point things. He can jump over people, things like that. But that's the vibes on that. Let's move on. Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State, big play guy, yak guy. He can get vertical. I wouldn't say that he has elite speed, because we've talked about guys that have elite speed, but he can run. He can run. His releases are interesting. You know what I mean? He kind of look a little wonky. If somebody's getting physical with him, they can kind of, take him off that thing. But what he does is he runs 9 routes and he runs crossing patterns. That's what he's good at. It's a lot of guys in this class that do deep, deep routes. They do 9 routes and they do crossing patterns, and that's kind of it. Gabriel Davis is a guy that runs deep and runs crossing patterns as well. Brandon Ayuk is another guy. He's not as tall as Gabriel. I think Ayuk is a 5'11" guy. Chatbox help me. I think he's a 5'11" guy, but when he's in the slot, he can work vertical. To do the seam things that we just talk about Jefferson doing. He could play outside, run some 9s out there. If you don't jam him, he's good. That's kind of what you get from him, man. That's kind of what you get from him. If you take away his 9 route, that's pretty much what you got from him. And if you play short game with him, he can run faster than people. He can run away from people. I just wouldn't call him elite yet, but I think he can play though. Michael Pittman from USC. This is where it starts to get weird with me, because I'm always weary of big receivers that don't separate well. There's a land where Michael Pittman can exist, to where you just kind of run routes that get him open. Like, he'll probably be a good slant guy. Okay. How about this? We just talked about, let me scroll back. What's your boy, Gabriel Davis? We just talked about Gabriel Davis being big and not playing big. Michael Pittman from USC is a guy that's big and plays big. You see what I mean? But Michael Pittman don't get separation, but he plays big. And he runs past corners sometimes. I chalked it up to being Pac-12 corners. And what made me say that, because he didn't really do anything spectacular to run past them. He just ran past people sometimes. But what Pittman's really good at, he's good at muscling people. He's good at sizing people, contested catches, jump balls, things like that, like running over people. He's a good blocker, things like that. But I wouldn't really put speed on him like that. I mean, like, combine will help. Combine will help. I wouldn't give him the title of he's a guy that can run. I wouldn't call him a good route runner. But if you need your red zone guy, I think Michael Pittman can be a solid red zone guy for you. I don't hate it. It's just that if I'm drafting for a team, he just ain't the kind of people that I would draft. But there's a GM somewhere that could use a big body receiver that can big body people, So I kind of lost a little bit of excitement at Michael Pittman. I was like, all right, cool. I'm not excited about Pittman, so I'm gonna watch this next person. And if this next person bad, I ain't gonna watch no more. And I got excited about KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler from Penn State. I got excited all over again. I was so excited. If you give him a little bit of space, I'll say 2 yards. If you give KJ, what about KJ? There you go. If you give KJ Hamler 2 yards, ball game. You're not gonna catch him. You're not going to catch him. He's another guy that uses quickness and speed as a yak guy, kind of in a way that Rager does. So that'll make a little sense there. I just think, God damn it. My bad, y'all. I just think KJ Hamler does a little less than Rager does. Now, KJ Hamler does give you vertical presence. He does, work up the seams a little bit, but I think he really make babies when you just get him in space. And if you ain't close by, then you ain't gonna catch him. If you ain't close by, then you just simply ain't gonna catch him. I think that's what Hamler from Penn State does really, really well. What else I got? Slot guy, twitchy, quick in out of his breaks. He creates separation, but not because of creativity. He's another one of these guys that run routes that run routes really well because he run routes really well because he's aware of his quickness. But he's not, he's not a route runner in terms of like creativity or whatever, like setting guys up. He's not that guy. And we got two more guys. Let's talk about Chase Claypool from Notre Dame. I wasn't excited. He's a big guy. He doesn't run very well. He does some physical big guy things, but I'm not a big fan of big guys that don't run well. So my relationship with Chase Claypool is an interesting one. He is big as hell though. He does have some catch radius. He does have some size, but I think somebody asked me earlier, is he like a tight end or something? Maybe, but I wasn't excited. And my last guy I have for y'all is Devin Duvernay from Texas. He's another yak guy. He's another guy that makes it happen after the catch. Now this is interesting because watch this though. Because when I was like Devin Duvernay, I was like, here go another Big 12 guy. Watch him versus LSU. And he basically bust ass versus LSU. The only reason Texas even had 37 points on the board was because Devin Duvernay was smoking the hell out them kids. So that's just that. Pardon my right ear, y'all. Just pardon the right ear. But yeah, Devin Duvernay, physical though. He can run. I wouldn't call him elite speed. I know he can run. They was talking about him being the track guy. Combine to help us with that. But what I got more from him was he's a physical runner. Like he runs over people. That's what I got more from that. He ran past a lot of people, but that's Big 12. But then, like I said, LSU slot guy, so that makes sense. And he also took handoffs. Which further feeds into the he's a physical runner, yak kind of guy. So I like Devin Duvernay too. I don't know when the hell he gonna go. He's another guy that turns kind of weird. He's a pretty solid guy, like going forward, like moving vertically or whatever. But if he had to turn sideways, then that's a whole nother conversation. All right, that's all my receivers today, man. I'm about to get into the phones and check out the chat box. But listen, y'all give me 28 seconds. Y'all can count it down in the chat box if you want to. Give me 15, actually. It ain't going to take very long. I just want to see if I can hit a button and see if I can make things better. Just give me a second. Testing. Tell me what y'all right ear sound like, man. This is all to try to fix, trying to fix the mess with the right ear. I'm just gonna buy a new soundboard, man. Whenever my sponsor hit me, shouts out to Challenge for Cheap, shouts out to Affordable Sticks. Whenever the sponsor hit me, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and invest in a soundboard, man. We're just gonna go ahead and run it like that. Let me get into the chat box real fast because not the chat box, but the super chats. The super chats. And then I'm going to get into the phones and see what y'all are talking about. So let's open that up. Let's see. We got a few of them. Greg Castillo, he say 2 for the new equipment. Hilarious. Nini dropped 2 for the new equipment. Hilarious. Anime Dog Fan dropped 5. He says, Miami has all these picks and I'm looking at all these receivers and I know we can take them. We got too many holes and we just re-signed Grant and Parker. Whack. Let me tell you something, man. Get your receiver anyway, man. Get you a receiver anyway and just add to it. Van burnt Stingley ass until he took a cheap shot. Hey, Stingley didn't lose a lot of reps. Van Jefferson put it on him. This was Florida versus LSU if y'all want to check that game out. What about KJ Hamler? Facts. Appreciate you, coach. Pull up there and drop 2. He says Lynn Bowden out of Kentucky. No weaknesses as a slot. Maybe I'll watch him later. Jamar Chase is better than the receivers this year. Good thing come out next year. Good thing he come out next year. Steven Benzick dropped 10 for the new equipment because you a gangster, Steven Benzick. You already know. Appreciate you. Appreciate all my super chatters. I appreciate y'all equally. If y'all want to call into the show, because we live now. We about to get into the calls now. 515-606-5187, access code 309-104. Call in now because we actually got room for y'all to get in. So let's see what y'all do. This ain't got no name on it. It just says wireless caller. So 443, what up? Who this?
Well, what's up, man?
What up? Who this?
What's up, man? It's Godson, man. How you doing?
What's happening, my guy? What you got for the show today?
All right, first off, I want to shout out to Terry, Coach Evans.
Okay.
That's my guy, Raven guy.
Okay.
And man, this wide receiver class is crazy, man. Look, my man for the Ravens, who's somebody that I really want us to go get, is Jennings from Tennessee.
Okay.
Jawan Jennings, you know about him?
Nah. Tell me about him. No, I haven't watched him, but tell me about him.
He nice, man. My definition of him, he all heart for real. Like, he'll go get any ball, he all heart. Like, his route running is cool. It ain't the best, but when that ball in the air, he's going to come down with it. And I like wide receivers like that for real. So,
okay. And look, man, this the wild thing about this class, bro. I just named 16 people. And then you gonna come out and name somebody that's really good that you really like that I ain't even see. So I just let you know where this, you know where we at on this. But keep going. Go ahead.
And I agree with you with KJ. KJ nice from Penn State. But that boy from TCU you was talking about, man, his shake game is crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, Jalen Reagor. Yeah.
I just basically called to show some love, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Look, I just log you into the system, God's son. So next time you call in, you ain't got to wait so long, man. Appreciate you.
Bet.
Yeah.
Bet, I got it.
Salute. Get you in early. That's a good call, man. He told me Jawan Jennings from Tennessee. Then he spoke highly of KJ Hamler from Penn State and Jalen Reagor from TCU. So we can't hate on that at all. Chris, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Captain? How you doing, man?
Everything, my guy. What's cracking-lacking?
Good, man. Everything's love, man. Everything's love. Yo, listen, loving the show. I'm sitting in my homework assignment later because there's so much stuff. Because following you over the years, there are guys I fell in love with along the way, like Harold Landry. I'm still crying that we didn't go get him because I remember how much we loved him. We loved Harold Landry. You remember that? I mean, I learned so much about the hand game with Harold Landry coming out that I couldn't understand why we didn't go get him. Screaming at the TV when we didn't get him that year. So I'm just going through the route. But you remember when Hunter Grant said early in the year when we was on the phone and we were talking about how bad Jerry Judy was, how he would make us forget about Amari Cooper. You remember that? You remember that statement?
Yeah, I remember.
So I mean, but Hunter Grant be drinking too.
He do.
But that's my dude though. He's my cat.
Yeah.
But being that that's the case, and with Vance Jefferson being a better route runner, in your humble opinion, not maybe in other people, but I take yours over a lot, and being a better route runner than him, it kind of sets up pretty nicely for the different things that the Cowboys could want to do later if he's there, in the second, maybe even the third round because this thing's so deep.
Sure. But
Reagor, if Rager's in the third round, listen here, man. I'll go to TCU and go get him myself, man. Listen, man, loving the show, man. Loving everything that you're doing. This is your season, man. This is always your best season. Your best. You do great with the post game. Everything's live. But this draft game right here, man, you are second to none, boss. Gonna continue to listen to the show. Talk to you later, champ.
Oh man, I can't. Boy, we gonna win that Super Bowl anyway, dog. So these shows gonna be lit. You know what I mean? Oh,
right.
Man.
That's how they always are. I mean, we gonna win anyway.
Right.
But this draft life, man, is where you at, man. Hands down, man. This is where you get down far better than. It's like you progress in the other stuff, but this right here, and it's like falling out of bed for you, man. This is what you do. Talk to you later, man.
Appreciate it, man. I'm trying to be great, man. I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be like Myles Garrett. He just roll out the bed, don't stretch, and run a 4.5. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be great like that. Set it off, Chris. Appreciate you. Josh Whitlock in the Super Chats, he says 4 out of 6 picks need to be defensive. What you think, Coach? You talking about Cowboys? Sure, absolutely.
Yo, what's good, Voch?
What's happening, my guy? What you got for the show?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Shenault.
Let's do it. What you think about him?
All right. Yeah, no, he's for real. I'm a Broncos fan, so we've been scouting out these receivers for a while.
Sure.
And because, we need someone across from Sutton over there.
Yeah.
And Shenault is that man because, let's see, I had some notes for it, but I was watching that Super Bowl, and that Deebo Samuel, he's a lot like him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Kind of the positionless player.
Yep.
You can kind of put him wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any of his 2018 tape?
No. Basically, I just got whatever I had on YouTube. I think I may have watched some last year stuff, but just whatever I had on YouTube or whatever. And to be fair,
right,
the broadcast view for his was terrible, but I got through it with a little bit of patience though. I got through it with a little bit of patience though. But go ahead, my guy.
Yeah, for sure. But like 2018. I was sitting there watching his first game, and it just happened to be on TV over here because I'm in Denver. Mm-hmm. And, man, it was against CSU. They had him lined up as H-back.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching him go for 218 and 2 touchdowns or something like that. Yeah. And I'm like, who the hell is this, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm keeping track of him. And I see him playing outside. I see him playing in the slot. I see him in the wildcat. I see him doing the read option like you said.
Yeah.
I see all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people, the con about him is the route running. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way they moved him around like that. They didn't really give him the opportunity to grow in that area. But which I don't really even think is that bad because it gives you opportunity to grow once you're in the league. And I think with a lot of that, I see the downfield catching. I see him tracking the ball. I see all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about that because you're like the only one that I feel is high on him like that.
I think he's fantastic. Of course, he has his knock in route running or whatever, but I've grown as a talent evaluator. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not all about what you can't do, but it's about what you can do. So sure, as a route runner, when we're putting him next to other receivers, like we can't put him next to, okay, how is he compared to Antonio Brown? Well, Antonio Brown's a really good route runner. He's this and he's that. But if you put Shenault in a situation where he ain't got to run routes, then cool. This is National Football League, man, 2020. We can put him on some kind of rub route and he runs some damn slant and he'll take that slant to the house. So it don't route running only matters if that's how you win.
Right. And then you see Deebo Samuel getting 30 speed sweeps a game in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And a lot of it is with the OC. I think if you put Shenault with the creative offensive coordinator, you could do wonders with that.
Kellen Moore, yeah. What else you got? Who else you been watching?
Man, someone that you didn't mention that I would recommend is Denzel Mims from Baylor.
Yeah.
He's big body.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty fast downfield. He'll outrun you. He's like 6'4" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Senior Bowl. Looked pretty good. He destroyed the red zone drill. But I would recommend checking him out. And another person, I know you were high on Hamler.
Yeah. Penn State. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as high on him. I worry about him going over the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see really that toughness catching the ball over the middle. To me, he kind of reminds me of Will Fuller in a way. Sure. I know you don't like the player comps, but kind of short, fast, maybe even a little Hollywood Brown. But Yeah, I'm not as high on him. I don't see the toughness with him running over the middle. That's all I got to say.
I tell you what, man, if you don't like him over the middle, run bubbles. Run bubbles and 9 routes. Thanks for the call, man.
I feel you. Yeah.
Hey, that's going on a shirt, dog. Hey, that's going on a shirt. I'll tell you what, if you don't like him over the middle, throw bubbles. Hey, man, y'all had to hold me down, man. Y'all had to hold me down. What up, Joe?
Hey, what's up?
Talk to me about your guys. I know you got a whole list of them.
Van Jefferson, man. I love me some Van Jefferson.
Facts.
Give me some more route runners. And that last caller just talked about Mims.
Mm-hmm.
For being in the Big 12, the man can run routes.
Sure. We'll see.
And I don't know if anybody's talked about this. Oh, sorry about that.
No, go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead.
And if you want a taller guy going over the middle, Tyler Johnson from Minnesota, you can put him at slot at 6'2". That's where you can do some fun stuff like in the red zone.
Okay.
Or any other area in the middle of the field.
Okay. So I got.
He's a tough dude.
So I got Tyler Johnson, Juwan Jennings, and Denzel Mims to watch right now. I'm taking notes on all this. Go ahead, keep going. Who else you got?
Who else I got? The problem is, man, this is just about like a gang of. There's a big gang of receivers. Okay.
Sure.
Otherwise you could be literally having a show all night.
Combine should be fun. So you're a Cowboys fan, Joe. Like
Yeah.
what's your vibes about wide receiver at 17? Like what's your thoughts on it?
Dude. Oh.
All right, he threw his phone in the river. All right, cool. Joe saw the police. He threw the trap phone and the gun in the river. So don't let him take you alive, Joe. Look, Joe said, "Oh," and he hung that one. Hey man, if y'all see Joe in the chat box, that's from the laptop because he tossed that phone. My God. Oh man. Let's see who else we got. Justice, what's up?
What are you doing today, Voch?
Everything, my guy. What you got for the show?
Bro, I'm low key depressed.
About what, man?
I see this wide receiver class, and I look at my Falcons and say, "There's no room for one of these guys."
I understand. You okay? So you represent the team. Everybody, listen. He represent the team that got a gang of receivers. One got paid, and one was drafted in 2018. So he's looking at all these fun receivers now, thinking that he's probably not gonna get one. I understand.
Yeah, like I see KJ Hamler, and I just think of Taylor Gabriel wearing a deep post from Matt Ryan and catching a deep post down the middle from Green Bay. Yeah. And I see like KJ Hamler, and I want him to like get 2 screens a game and then take that to the house. I see Jalen Reagor, and I'm like, he can do the same thing. And I see Jerry Judy, and he looks like a better version of Calvin that can catch.
Yeah.
And I see CeeDee Lamb, and he's just running over people, and I see Laviska Shenault, and he's just running over people, and I see Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I'm like, bro, Shea Patterson wasn't a bum.
But you don't want Yatur, Gross, Matos. You don't want him? Or?
I do. I kind of do, sir. Like, I kind of do. But, like, I just look at these wide receivers, and I'm like, this draft's going to be fun for all the 32 teams that need a wide receiver. But I'm thankful I got Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage. Like, I'm thankful for them. But, like, you look at the other people, and you're just like, dang. Like, if only I needed a receiver this draft.
I understand, my guy. I feel for you. Time out, sir. Put the oven on 400, please. Thank you. Because I had to pack mine up. I feel you though, but listen, man, this just ain't your year. Now, something that y'all could possibly do is draft a guy in the 4th or 5th or something like that, but leave these round 1, 2, and 3 guys alone, my guy. They're not for you. Let all us eat.
I know.
Appreciate it, my guy.
I know. You eat as much as you want as a Cowboys fan.
I want defense. Appreciate you, man. Cowboy fans hit me up. Speaking of Cowboy fans and Falcons fans, Cowboys asked me how I feel about the whole Vic Beasley thing. Maybe that'll be a roundtable discussion. We'll put out the bat signal, get the other guys on, and maybe we'll have a conversation about it. But we'll see. Brandon Flowers.
Yes, sir. Good evening. How you doing, Voch?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. What you up to over there, man? Sound like you're in a rocket ship.
Hey, yeah, man. I'm at work, man. I'm a big fan of your show, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm
Thanks
trying
for
to
calling.
I'm trying to get to a less noisy area.
It's all good. I can hear you. I just tuned up your audio, so you good. What you got for the show?
Hey, man. I know we need a defense. I know we need a defensive position player.
Yeah.
But if Henry Ruggs is on the board at 17,
yeah,
we need to take him and not let Philadelphia get him.
Let me ask you a
question.
question.
I know for sure.
Let me ask you a question. If Cowboy, right? So if you take Henry Ruggs,
Absolutely.
where do we play him? Like who do we take off the field to put Ruggs in?
I mean, if we're looking like we're gonna re-sign Cobb, then all right,
Sure.
maybe.
Sure.
But if we don't keep Cobb, then we put him in the slot.
Sure. I feel you on that.
For sure.
Yeah, boy. I just look in a perfect world, I need defense for 3 rounds. In a perfect world, but I'm a sucker for some of these guys, man. I love some of these guys. It just is what it is, though, man. But I feel you on that. Henry Ruggs. Who else you got? Who else you like out this class?
I'm not as high on Grant Delpit as I was, but I probably still would take him over Xavier McKinney. But I'm going to ask you this. Who would you take out of Xavier McKinney, Grant Delpit, and if we had a chance to get Jamal Adams?
I'd rather keep that first round pick and draft a guy. If I had to pick out of those 3 guys, it'll be Delpit or McKinney, whichever one I like. But if it's out of a safety and I ain't got no tackles on the board, then I'm drafting Laviska Shenault. That's just is what it is. I'm drafting Shenault off the rip.
Hey, I can live with that.
But
I'm not on the Jeff Heath is terrible train.
Okay.
I'm not on that train.
Understood, my guy. God bless you for that. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Keep up the good work, man.
Salute. I got a question for the chat box when we done with this thing. We got a little bit of Super Bowl talk. Just a little bit. We'll cross that road in a second. Let me get this last call out. It's a long last name. Joseph?
Yeah, what's good, Voch?
Arredondo? That's how you say it?
Yeah, Arredondo, yeah.
Arredondo. What's up, my guy? What you got for the show?
Like you were saying earlier about Jalen Reagor, I really think he's probably one of the. I mean, you probably don't think, but I think he's pretty well rounded as a number 1 guy.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of his film, and he can catch contested. He has a decent route running, and he's pretty fast off the ball.
Sure.
And I just wanted your opinion. Do you think it would be a reach if the Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders take him at one of our first-round picks?
If the Raiders took Jalen Reagor, what y'all got to pick it like 25 or something, 27?
No, I think we got 12, and then we have 19 or 18. We're around the same region as the Dallas Cowboys.
I wouldn't hate on that because I got another question for the chat box that we're gonna talk about. Then first, boom, because I think Reagor is better than his projection is putting him or whatever. So we'll have to cross that road whenever we get there. But I like Reagor. Reagor he's possibly a first round guy. I agree. Could be.
Thanks. And I wanted to name another receiver, James Prochet out of SMU. I don't know if you heard of him.
Senior Bowl guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he looked pretty good as well too. You were talking about slot guys for the Dallas Cowboys earlier. I mean, he can. You guys can catch him probably in like the 5th or later rounds and steal him up as a swoop because he had a productive year. He had 15 touchdowns and like 1,200 yards.
Sure. I've watched of them, but I don't like to talk about people unless I've watched them formally. And I haven't sat down and watched them formally, but I have seen the Senior Bowl stuff, his practices and all that. Seems like a solid player, but I just need some more information at this time.
No doubt.
Yeah, appreciate it, my guy.
All right.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Yep. So I just shut the phones down, y'all. I got 3 questions, and we can just interact for the next. We'll see what happens. But I just got some questions. I want to know y'all vibes on 3 questions. Then I'll take your questions for the next for like 10 minutes after that. I just want to know some vibes here. First of all, Reagor versus Ruggs. Jalen Reagor versus Henry Ruggs. Chat box, what's your vibes on that? I just want to get an understanding. And like I said, my rankings aren't final until I drop a video. It ain't final until I go live and tell y'all that it's, you know what I mean, that it's official. But I do think the Reagor versus Ruggs conversation is going to have to be a real conversation. We just can't say, and then why? And then tell me why. Because, hell, I know one gonna run of like I don't want y'all to say, oh, I want Henry Ruggs because he's gonna run a 4.240. Well, Reagor may also run that same kind of 4.240. You know what I mean? Especially if you can get him later. You know. And see, that's one of my examples. Devin says Ruggs because he has unmatchable speed. I don't think you unmatchable. I don't think you want to say the words unmatchable there. I don't think you want to say that. You gotta love when people sneak away from work to come talk about that boy snuck in the broom closet to get that point out. Boy, I appreciate him, man. I appreciate everybody that, you know what I'm saying, go against the grain and jump out windows and throw they trap phone out the window so the feds won't get them while they're talking to vibes. I appreciate all that. Ruggs can beat press sometimes. Reagor can also beat press. I'm just saying. Reagor can do everything Ruggs can do, but you can use Reagor in the slot more effective. I agree there. It's going to be interesting moving forward. I just need to know people's vibes, man. And, of course, Reagor probably be around at the top of the second or in the second round in general. I think Ruggs might be, too, depending on what happened with the board or whatever, but I think it's going to be interesting, man. Oh, can Ruggs beat press? Yeah, he can beat. Yeah, they all can beat press in a way. Everybody got a way to beat press. Sure, yeah, absolutely. How about this second question? Because it seemed like y'all don't have a definitive answer on the first one. We just gonna have to have that conversation recurringly. Reagor versus Ruggs. How about Shenault versus Lamb? That's another question that I kind of sort of quasi alluded to. That I thought should be a realistic, just a realistic question. I think Shenault, his draft stock is probably taking a dip because he plays at Colorado, but I think he can do what CeeDee Lamb can do. I just want to know the vibes here. I forgot to mention Byron Edwards from South Carolina. I'll put him on the list. Let's see. Shenault all day long. But tell me why. Also, tell me why. Lamb is a more refined receiver. I wouldn't say that. Okay, okay, cool. Okay, I can see why you would say that. You probably saying that because Lamb has a little more polish as a route runner. He's not a great route runner, but he's more polished as a route runner than Shenault is. I feel what you're saying on that. LaVisca has an ass whoop, sure do. Lamb look faster. That's why I say, man, combine's important. Combine's going to be important here when we do all this. Shenault's the playmaker. Shenault is who I want for the race. Sure, it's an interesting conversation. Interesting conversation. We're gonna have to cross that road whenever we get there. Third question I have before I start to take y'all questions and get up out here and cook this steak. Did y'all like the halftime show? The Super Bowl halftime show? I thought it was kind of whack, but not only did I think it was whack because it's just not only did I think it's whack, but people on the Twitter machine are villainizing people for thinking that it's whack. J-Lo ain't in my Spotify. Neither is Shakira. Neither is Celine Dion or Britney Spears or anybody else that'll make that type of music. I don't listen to Demi Lovato neither, so I ain't, you know what I mean? It's just a whole genre of music I just don't necessarily like. So when I say that, hey, I thought the halftime show was kind of whack, there seems to be a little divide about the halftime show. I just want to know y'all vibes. It was okay. Facts. No. The Illuminati sex ritual. I feel you on that. It was a lot of weird shit going on. Time for bathroom break music. Okay, cool. Cool. I thought it was a real question. That's absolutely a real question. What do you mean? It wasn't my cup of tea. Okay, cool. I started to feel like a villain for a while. Like, hey man, am I being unfair? Am I being unfair? Coach Jefferson said, I was not the target audience, but it was good. Hey man, let me tell you about the scenery, Coach Evans. For 43 and 50 years old, I agree. For 43 and 50 years old, the scenery wasn't terrible. I totally agree, Coach Evans. But the choice of music wasn't, the show in general wasn't my thing. I tell y'all what, man, early, they was breaking down some of the other halftime shows, whatever. And they was like, and suddenly when Prince was performing, it just started raining. I'm like, fam, Prince summoned the rain. Prince did a ritual with his guitar, and Prince made it rain on his own accord, my guy. Don't disrespect Prince like that. Prince was different. Halftime show may have been whack, but hey, man, we got women that listen to this show, Marjan. But I feel you. Did y'all know that YouTube was invented because of the Janet Jackson halftime show? Did y'all know that? YouTube was invented because the dudes that invented YouTube, they went to go look for the Janet Jackson halftime thing, but it wasn't around, so they created their own video hosting platform so somebody could post a video and people could go watch it. Did y'all know that? Janet Jackson is the reason I'm a YouTuber. No, she's not the reason I'm a YouTuber, but she's the reason I'm using YouTube as a platform here. Interesting. Shouts out to Janet Jackson for paving the way. She sat so I could stand. Shouts out to the nerds. Facts. Yes, Miko Doc. Yes, absolutely. YouTube was created because people wanted somewhere to go to watch the Janet Jackson show. Interesting. So now, chat box, for the next however many minutes, what would y'all like to talk about? Let's do some Q&A before I get up and fix this thing. What y'all want to do? Maybe have New Edition perform next year? Come on, son. They wouldn't dare do that. Come on now. What else y'all got? Safeties? We'll probably do safeties next week. Actually, I want to do running backs next week because Nene like running backs and she don't like how I keep putting off running backs. So we'll probably talk running backs next week. Then we'll do safeties after that because I think it's more running backs that I like than safeties this year. So best wide receiver for the Colts. It depends on what y'all do with Paris Campbell. Depending on what y'all do with them because y'all got a lot of guys. I just need somebody to step up. So at 17, I don't know. It depends. I don't know. Top 4 offensive tackles. You're going to have to wait on that ranking video. If you want my opinion, I did do an offensive tackle live stream. You should go listen to it. It's fantastic. Do you think Shenault is more like Devontae Adams or Hill, like Taysom Hill from the... Well, he's not like Taysom Hill. He ain't like that. And I don't think he's like Devontae Adams either. So, I don't know how to answer your question. T. Rod say tight ends are whack, but I'll find a way to look at them. Danny Lunkenmeyer, who's better, Dak or Wentz? I think Dak is better. I thought everybody thought Dak was better, but you know. Antoine Winfield, that's a safety conversation. Who's the highest? What's the highest you're taking a receiver? I don't know. It depends. Because we don't know what's going to happen with these pass rushers or these edge players. We don't know what's going to happen with offensive tackle. And wide receiver is definitely a position that we have no idea what's going to happen, how early somebody can or cannot go. So we'll see. Tell you what, I wouldn't mind taking a guard at 17. Just in case Connor Williams don't work out. And I can bump him at tackle if I need to. What's my man from Oregon? I'll do that. I'll draft offensive line every year if you let me, but that's a worst case scenario. Mind your business, woman. Tupac or Biggie? I'm absolutely Tupac guy. By a long shot. I know there are people, there are New Yorkers that'll absolutely take Big over this one, and I think people from New York think they own hip hop, so they put their legends a little higher than others. I'm not saying that Big is one of those guys, but I think Tupac better than Big, man. But there are some people that just will not give Tupac, the conversation over Chris Wallace. But the way I see it, man, Big said things really well. Pac said things that were moving. And you know what? It probably depends on the type of fan. You know, if you want to say Big got better wordplay than Pac, sure. Don't say Big rap better than Pac, because that's a different kind of conversation. That's a whole different kind of conversation. Because Pac is lyrical. Don't you ain't got to be technical with words to be lyrical. Scarface is a perfect example of I don't need your super goofy wordplay to be lyrical and to be poignant and to be profound. You know what I mean? So we'll cross that road in a second. But I'm taking Tupac easily. T.Y. Hilton and Jerry Judy will be fire. Come on, son. I would hate that. As a Cowboy fan, I would hate that. But that's because I like Jerry Judy so much. But I mean, that's a fantastic combo. Talk about my boy Josh Jacobs getting snubbed for Rookie of the Year. No. Who was your Rookie of the Year? I didn't have one. When you're doing guards and centers, don't know. What's your favorite football movie? I tell you what, talked about Nina here. Me and her were talking about football movies, right? And she hadn't seen Friday Night Lights before. I was talking about football movies. She's a big football fan or whatever. And there was some football. Nene, put in the chat box the name of that goofy football movie where the coach made that boy get on the other boy back and crawl 100 yards, and he lied to him and said it was going to be 15 yards, but he made that boy crawl 100, and you thought it was fantastic? And she thought it was so fantastic. She was like, oh my God, this is the best football scene. It was football scenes. That's what we was talking about. We was talking about football scenes, the best football scenes like ever. You know what I mean? But she hadn't seen the Boobie Miles, all I know how to do is play football scene. So I showed her the Boobie Miles, all I know how to do is play football scene after he tore his ACL. And oh my God, we never talked about that. Facing the Giants, I guess. Salute to you. Facing the Giants, that was hers. That was her pick. But Friday Night Lights, in terms of classic football movie, in terms of realistic, in terms of let Nick call in. Nick here. Okay, let me unlock the phones for you, Nick, and we're gonna end with you. But Friday Night Lights, call in, Nick. Friday Night Lights, in terms of football realism in terms of emotion, in terms of what players really go through, in terms of each character or whatever. Like, bro, like when they sitting in the car eating a burrito and the sheriff pull up, say, how y'all boys doing? We good, sir. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. You doing good in school? Mm-hmm. And then they just lean over, look at him and say, y'all gonna win state? Yes, sir. we gonna win state. Y'all gonna go undefeated too? Yeah. We're gonna go undefeated too. All right then. You know what I'm saying? That's real life pressure, man. Portray that shit. And then look, even this, watch this. Even if you like, even if you watch football movies, the corny ending to the football movie, you know what I'm saying? The corning, hey, it was happily ever after and we won state and we're the champions and we overcame. They lost. they lost. Dallas Carter smoked shot them kids. And then the best part about it is Dallas Carter actually has a 30 for 30. That is fantastic. So, hey man, y'all go watch Friday Night Lights, man. Y'all go watch Friday Night Lights. The program will eat Friday Night Lights up. Come on, son. Blindside is cool, but Blindside. All right, chat box. That's it for y'all. Let's get Nick Gashler up in here and see what he got to say. Then we're gonna wrap the show up. What's up, Nick Gashler?
Not much. My bad for being late. I had to eat dinner, get some homework done. You know the vibes.
Yeah, man. Do you know the vibes? I got you, fam. We talking about receivers today. How many have you watched, sir?
I've watched 10 receivers with a couple more on my list that I'm looking through here.
Tell me about it.
I'll run down the dudes that I have watched thus far.
Okay.
Judy,
Sure.
Chenault, Lamb, Higgins, Ruggs, Hamler, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor, Ayuk, and Tyler Johnson.
So let me ask you a question, Nick Gashler. I posed this question to the chat box earlier, and I think that it made for some good discussion. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb versus Chenault. What you think about that?
Okay.
Lamb versus Chenault. Also, I want you to tell me about Reagor versus Ruggs. Because I feel like these are guys that do similar things, but one guy probably gets a little more draft clout because of where they play football at.
Right.
But
Right. That's a really good point.
Right. Jalen Reagor's probably going to run a 4.2 as well. Probably a little more quicker than Ruggs. Can do some more things than Ruggs, but he's a TCU receiver. Chenault is a yak guy, just like your boy Lamb, you know what I'm saying? 6'2", 6'3", or whatever, super fast, super yak guy, whatever. Whatever. But he plays in Colorado opposed to Lamb playing at Oklahoma. Just kind of give me your thoughts on those two matchups and tell me about the rest of your guys. Just break that down for me.
Right. So like between Lamb and like Chenault, I think Chenault has solid yards after catch ability. I love his if you can run with yards after catch.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I will take you on my team because that means if you catch the ball in a bad situation, you can get out of it, and I'll take those yards, right? But Chenault, I think a lot of the reason why I think his yards after catch is good is not just because when he catches the ball and is able to run, but he also plays like H-back at a bunch of these random positions with Colorado and is able to find a way to get into the open space. So he has a lot of experience being able to kind of do what a running back has to do and find vision, find the ways to get into open space. And he combats that with solid speed for a bigger dude, like he's 6'2", 220. So he's not like a 5'11", 160 Henry Ruggs or like 170 KJ Hamler or whatever it is. He's a tough dude too. Like I said, like he's the bigger size is going to make him a little bit tougher to tackle. You know what I mean? So I think his yards after catch is really good. In comparison, CeeDee Lamb, again, also another guy with really good yards after catch. But the thing that puts CeeDee Lamb above me is because I've seen consistency of him going deep or going on a different route and finding ways to get out of that. I mean, like, you go and watch the Texas Tech tape, or like I think the Texas tape was also another example that he has like 4 guys in front of him. He's able to use jukes and just overall quickness to get out of there and find his way to the end zone.
Sure.
I value yards after catch really highly.
Sure.
And although I do like Judy better than Lamb probably like since 2017, I don't think I've seen a better receiver with yards after catch than CeeDee Lamb.
It's a lot of yak guys this year.
Right.
Some yak guys run people over. Some yak guys just run faster than people. Hamler is a yak guy that runs faster than people. Rager's another guy like that. To where Lamb and Chenault and Duvernay, they run over guys. Let me just say this 1.2. Chatbox is having a side conversation about football movies. Listen, man. Listen. Friday Night Lights. What's the quarterback name? I've got a quarterback now on Friday Night Lights. Y'all remember the scene where the girl tried to get pregnant because she felt like he was going to the league and she trapped him? He thought she was into her, but she just wanted to get knocked up for that paper. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, son. Program ain't doing that. Facing the little giants ain't doing that. My bad. That's real. That's facts. That's real thing football players go through for real. For my bad, Nick. Gosh, you was on the phone, my guy. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. Obviously, like, I agree with that. That's shit real football players go through. I've seen my quarterback go through that type shit, man.
You ever tried to get trapped, Nick Gash, by one of these little boppers? Try to trap you?
Hell no.
Okay. I got you. Okay, my bad, Nick Gash. Okay. Okay, finish talking about receivers, my guy. My fault. Nick said, hell no.
We going to the speed dudes like Rager and Hamler and Ruggs.
Sure.
Honestly, you're right. I think Jalen Rager is probably going to be faster than Henry Ruggs, and not a lot of people see that right now. But when I turned on the tape, I gave his speed a grade of a 5 out of 5 because he's just like blazes, and he's athletic enough because he returns punts and kicks and all that stuff.
Sure.
You see Jalen Waddle do that at Alabama. You don't see Henry Ruggs do that. I'm not like knocking Henry Ruggs' speed, but I just think Jalen Rager is going to be a better pure speed guy. The thing with Jalen Rager for me is his drops. He does. He brings in balls with his body rather than his hands, and then he also, he's just, there's times when you just watch it and the ball goes right through his hands and you're wondering what happened.
Sure.
But otherwise, like, that speed's going to be a hot commodity, I think, and he also needs to do a better job blocking because he doesn't do that at all to begin with.
Both the Alabama receivers
like
block really well. Both those guys put hands on people in the run game. Absolutely. Go ahead.
So Rager is up there. I think I have Hamler rated higher than him. Hamler's kind of that like dude that you're going to put in the slot and he's going to just blaze.
Sure.
You can do it on those jet sweeps. You can do it on stuff like that. And I see Hamler catching with his hands, or with his body rather than his hands, my bad. But that speed and burst is going to be killer, and I think that's going to be a lot of what these smaller dudes can do. He's also 5'9" and 176, and we see that work with Marquise Brown, but like, I really wonder how, if he can't add some weight onto that frame, how his injury is going to go in the NFL, kind of like with Marquise Brown has had to deal with this year, being in and out of the lineup.
I tell you what, man. Somebody called in early. They was like, Voch, I don't like Hamler going over the middle, and I was like, well, just run bubbles and 9 routes, and he'll never see the middle. You know, just get it to him. The one thing I can say about Hamler though, and Hamler may not have the fastest 40. You know, like out of him, Ruggs and Rager or whatever. Hamler may not have the fastest 40. But one thing that I saw constantly with Hamler is that if he had a yard of space, you wasn't gonna catch him. If he had any amount of room, you was not gonna catch him. So I think he works better than Ruggs, like sideways. But I think Rager's more quick, you know. But Ruggs may be the more complete receiver. You know, it's a real conversation to have. Yeah.
I agree. Judy, I mean, I don't really see any question about this kid, man. I'll go through my gets pretty good separation. He releases off the ball really well. Hands are solid. They're just not elite like an OBJ or Jarvis Landry type elite. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Honestly, I'm really impressed with his speed, and I don't feel like he gets enough credit for that. His feet are so quick.
Sure.
And you see in and out of routes, his feet are so quick. Like, just the turnover on those when he runs is insane. I don't think a lot of people see that, but, like, his feet are, like, insanely quick, and that's, like, my first big impression of Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
His route running is probably the best in the class. I mean, he is able to quick fakes, make crisp cuts. I think, I remember saying his route tree is not horrible. Does pretty good for yards after catch. And then his size, I said 6'1" is pretty ideal, but then 100. I'd always like to see my receivers be a little bit bigger, but 192 pounds could work on the next level. He might come into the combine and come in and weigh out at like 195, and I'd be fine with that. He's my highest graded receiver this year.
Let me ask you this, and I'm gonna let you go, man. So T. Higgins, right? You know, I just been up and down this chat box and just around the water cooler, you know, just different mocks or whatever. T. Higgins gets talked about, but he's not getting talked about a lot. But when I watch film on him, I see a lot of good things. So what's going on with T. Higgins? Chat box also, tell me y'all's vibes on T. Higgins, because I've only seen him been mentioned a few times. So what's your think about him? T. Higgins from Clemson.
T. Higgins from Clemson. I feel like I've heard that there's two players that the media is higher on than the NFL teams, and that's T. Higgins and Andrew Thomas. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there's a lot to like about T. Higgins. He's 6'4", man, for the Pete's sake. Like, you see all these ginormous receivers come out of Clemson. DeAndre Hopkins is a top 10 receiver in the league. Sure. Mike Williams he's not like elite, but he's still pretty good. He's a utility guy for the Chargers, and he's a solid wide receiver too at that. Yeah. I honestly think a big problem with him is he just contested catch ability. Like he does pretty well, but oh wait, never mind. That's not what those things say. They focus drops. That's what it says. I see some focus drops out of him. I said his speed is just average, and it won't be a killer trait compared to some of the other guys like Ruggs and Rager and KJ Hamler. And then I said my biggest opinion, or his biggest issue in my opinion, is his release and separation ability. I've seen him struggle to get off the ball and win against cornerbacks early on and press man. And his man usually stays pretty close to him on his hip on fade routes and different stuff like that. I think isn't a bad receiver. Then again, his breed and archetype at 6'4" and 215, that bigger size, is kind of less common. I mean, you see like Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, but you see a lot of shorter guys like Odell and like people like that. You know, Julio's one of the bigger dudes, but I think he could be again kind of like with Mike Williams from Clemson a couple of years ago. I think he can be a solid wide receiver too. I still think he's a late round one prospect. He's my fifth best wide receiver on my board this year. And then Brandon Ayuk is also pretty close to him. I like Brandon Ayuk, man. Yeah. That kid can ball.
It's a lot of guys this year, man. These are guys I want you to watch film on next. I want you to write these guys down. I want you to tell me what you think on Thursday's show.
Pull out mine.
Pull your notepad out.
All right.
Get your notepad out.
I got my notepad out.
Have you watched Justin Jefferson?
Yes, I like Justin Jefferson.
Okay, we're gonna talk about him next week. You said Jerry Judy was the best running back was the best route runner in the class. Cool. I want you to write down Van Jefferson from Florida.
Right.
Write down Van Jefferson from
I've heard
Florida.
good things about him.
Fantastic. I think he's the best route runner. And look, I feel what you're saying because you watched Jerry Judy first, and he's the best route runner until you watch Van Jefferson. So just kind of watch him.
And he's one of those Senior Bowl guys.
He's a Senior Bowl guy. Then watch Devin Duvernay from Texas, and we'll have that conversation about him when you call in Thursday.
All right. And then I also have Denzel Mims on my list.
I got to watch him.
Baylor.
I haven't watched him, but I got to watch him next. We got to do a whole part 2 about receivers because there's about 6 or 7 guys from Texas. Because there's about 6 or 7 guys that I haven't watched, but they need to be discussed. So Thursday is going to be a part 2 discussion about these wide receivers. So everybody, please do your homework or whatever, do your Googles and all that, and we're going to get into another episode of that. That's all you got for me, Nick Gashler?
Yes, sir. Peace out.
Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Chat box, appreciate y'all for participating, being in tune. Callers, I appreciate y'all for calling in as well, giving y'all concerns and thoughts and all that. It's very much appreciated. Y'all keep watching film on wide receivers because we're going to come right back Thursday, and we're going to watch even more film on it. So go watch them, come back. I'll continue to watch some more receivers, and we're just going to meet back up here, and we're going to talk about it. Combine is this month. It's at the end of February, like the 24th or whatever, 27th, something like that. So we got about 3 weeks to the combine, and we'll have even more information. So what I'm trying to do before then, I'm trying to fit these receivers in, trying to fit these corners and safeties in, and also these running backs. I'm trying to get all these guys in for the combine start. So then, just so we can have a place of reference, and then we can watch the combine, and we'll come back to all this stuff. All right? Voch, how you feel about Duggar now? What was my previous Duggar opinion? I don't remember. I don't recall. But hey, I appreciate all y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I have a new soundboard next time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that road whenever we get there. But hey, until then, y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and Peasky Whiskey. I got ads. Y'all watch my ads, and catch y'all next time. Salute. My cable bill was way too high. I reached out to affordablesticks.com. They sent me a Fire Stick, plugged that thing into the HDMI. Now I get unlimited shows, movies, and live TV. I'm a huge sports fan, so I love League Pass, Sunday Ticket, and I get the pay-per-view fights for free. There's something for the whole family. You can buy Fire every TV in the house and still spend less money than you would on cable. That's affordablesticks.com. There's a link in my description. You should go click it. Cut the cord, man. The YouTube Illuminati is taking money away from your favorite content creators, and people often ask the best way to support the channel directly. I tell them that's subscribing to my Patreon. Just $1 a month would increase production and the frequency of uploads. Basically, that means more content for you. For less than a bag of almond M&Ms, you can support the channel, call dibs on requests for future videos, and you can have access to Patreon exclusive material like my throwback film sessions. That's patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. I appreciate the support. Doski Woski. Salute. After canceling my cable, I saved $2,400 this year by switching to Beast TV through channelsforcheap.com. Some people pay $200+ a month. I paid $120 a year, or you can go $15 a month if that's what's convenient for you. You get 2,500 HD channels. 1,000 of those are in English, and there are plenty other international channels, TV Guide, and we get all the sports. One of my favorite things is multi-screen feature. So if I don't know what I want to watch, I can tune into 4 different channels at one time that you can watch on 4 different devices, and it's available on Fire Stick, smart TVs, tablets, and if you're on the go, you can watch TV on your phone. Hit the link in my description or go to channelsforcheap.com where you can get a free 7-day trial. That's a whole week for you to just sit down and play with it and see what you like about it, then come back and make a purchase. If you have any questions, go to channelsforcheap.com, hit this little button right here, and they'll respond to you immediately. That is channels4cheap.com. The link is in the description. I highly recommend it. Let's do it.